It's because our society and many parts of the educational system look down upon students with disabilities. People feel that they will not contribute much to society, so many school districts decide to put these students into separate classrooms even if it is not where they belong. But this should not be the case. Students with disabilities have the desire to fit in just like everyone else, and they should be given this right.
When I come indoors, I have autism.
I'm Bill Tackett, and I am Ethan Tackett's father. Full inclusion would probably be spending at least 60% of the child's day in the classroom, a typical classroom, with other time being pulled out for therapies like speech therapy, possibly peer awareness groups where they can meet and talk with other kids in a safe environment, as well as getting assistance on the course studies that they are taking. But I would say no less than 60% of the time.
Hi, my name is Ann Benninghoff. I'm a teacher, educational consultant, and a strong proponent of inclusive practices. Why? Because I've seen over and over again how inclusion benefits not just the students with disabilities, but all of the students in your inclusive classroom. The best tool that you can have in your toolbox to help with inclusion is a positive attitude. If you believe that inclusion can work, then you're more than halfway there.
Full inclusion's been great for Ethan. He is frequently encouraged to interact with his peers, and interestingly enough, as a way to help him develop things like his writing skills, they actually allowed him to look at the papers of other children and essentially copy what they were writing, because it gave him the modeling skill of writing and beginning to digest the types of things that the other kids were doing. And then they would pull that back. Additionally, it broadened the awareness of children with disabilities with typical children so that all of them could be more accepted by the typical kids, and encouraged relationships that were beneficial to both. Of course not. There are children whose disabilities are so profound that it is a disservice to them to attempt to put them into a mainstream classroom. Trying to put them into a classroom where you're attempting to teach them fundamentals along with typical peers is simply going to be counterproductive and not meeting their needs. We're talking about people with severe motor control issues, with severe developmental issues that just wouldn't work well. He understands social cues much better. So in a limited environment, he wouldn't be exposed to the kinds of typical reactions that people have to things, laughing, smiling, getting upset, because the emotions that he'd be exposed to were either by teachers and aides or by students with disabilities themselves. And so, with the goal being to make him as, flexible and productive as possible and give him the best advantage, being able to go off into the world as a typical worker, he really needs to be exposed to how to handle those challenges and how to react to other people when they're having those kinds of things.
As you can see, full inclusion is a policy that should be adopted by all schools around the country. These students need to be treated as equals rather than outsiders. Now take a moment and think how you can make one person with a disability feel like they belong.